JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 26th of June 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon live session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a quick recap of some of the pairs, some of the instruments that we looked at this morning and some new ones. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on top. Now then, quick update on what's happening here. Of course, to be honest, not much, not a lot of difference, but we will have a look at this figure on Monday, because it's going to be very interesting to see if actually we do hit, by the end of this week, we do hit the 10 million mark. But again, for now, with the current pace, well, it seems that it is a decent, it has got a decent chance of doing that. So, but I hope it slows down eventually. But now then, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. Now, the index today is trading slightly in the positive territory. However, as you can see, it did move a little bit higher, but now it's retracing again. So for now, probably we'll remain not probably, but we'll remain a little bit on the neutral side, because as I've mentioned this morning when I was covering the German DAX, that if the index continues, let's say, to balance somewhere in between these two lines, between the 12,133 zone here on the downside and the 12,484 on the upside, yep, we will take a bit of a neutral stand. Although, again, of course, there is still maybe even a bigger likelihood for this one to move higher. However, as I said, to get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, we would prefer to wait for a push above the 12,484 zone, because as you can see, it kind of acted as a very nice area of resistance here, especially on the 18th of June and also on the 24th of June. And a nice good pop above this could, in a way, open the door towards the current highest point of June, near the 12,913 territory. Of course, looking at this from another perspective as well, because the kind of what supports the upsided idea is the fact that the index continues to float above the 21-day EMA. You can see that this 21-day EMA once again acted as a very nice area of support, and at the same time the index continues to trade above the this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March. So in a way, even if it declines lower, as long as this upside line stays intact, there is still a chance for the bulls to push this one higher. But to get a little bit more careful and cautious and more confirmation, we would prefer to wait for a push above the 12,484 zone. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now here the index is trying to climb higher. I mean, yesterday it closed in the positive territory. The market is not open yet. It opens in around 10 minutes. But looking at the cash index and where it's currently balancing at, the price is currently moving at around 25,560 zone. So basically, slightly below of where it has closed yesterday. So in a way, for now, we'll also take a bit of a neutral stand here, because as I've covered when I was covering Dow Jones this week, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on some of these levels. Now, on the downside, keep your eyes on the psychological 25,000 zone, and on the upside, keep your eyes on the 26,294 territory. After a break of which, we'll start considering higher levels, because don't get me wrong, there are a bunch of strong areas of resistance here. So that's why with the upside, if we do get a nice push above the 26,294 level, then yes, we will aim for higher levels, but we'll be very careful here. And like I said, in terms of the downside, we need to see a nice good drop below that 25,000 zone, and yep, then maybe more sellers could be joining in, and especially if we get a nice daily close below that psychological level, and then yep, more sellers could be joining in. Quick update on gold. To be honest, not much has changed. The same idea remains from as of this morning. The commodity continues to balance above this 1748 zone, which is wonderful. Good news for the bulls. At the same time, it's also the bullish case is supported by this upside support line taken from the low of the 5th of June. So in a way, as long as the price kind of balances above this area, still there is a chance for this one to move higher. We would get a little bit, or should I say, the bears would get a little bit more excited probably if we see a break, if we get a break of this upside line and a drop below the 1748 zone, and in addition to that, a drop below the 1723 territory could do the trick here for more sellers, and yep, further declines could be possible here, but only up until this the lower side of the previous range, where the commodity was kind of trading in, and that was roughly near the lower bound of that range was near the 1670 territory. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Ripple. Now, Ripple is performing, I would say, the best today among all the top cryptos, and if the other ones are sliding a little bit, Ripple is pushing higher. Now, as I mentioned before, as I mentioned yesterday, that if this highlighted area does provide some support, we may see a bit of a correction higher, and yep, we could see maybe a test of this downside line taken from the high of the 30th of April. However, to get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels, as I've mentioned before, we would prefer to wait for a push above the highest point of June near the 0.2152 level, because at the same time the price would be placed above the 200-day EMA, and maybe more buyers could see this as a wonderful opportunity to step in. Until then, we'll even at this point in time, we'll take a bit of a neutral stand here, because again, yes, it is getting a hold up near this key area of support, roughly between the 0.1743 and the 0.1813, yep, but for now, I mean, it's still a very tricky one. It could drift a little bit higher, find resistance near this downside line, and reverse to the downside. That's why first, even with the downside scenario, we are taking a bit of a cautious approach and waiting for a drop below the 0.1743 level. First, we need to see a drop below that level first. By the way, that's marked by the low of the 16th of April and the low of the 10th of May, and then we could aim for, if this level gets broken, then we could aim for further declines, because this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and well, maybe more sellers could see this as a good opportunity to step in. Quick update on NZDCAD. I've talked about this one, and basically today I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this barrier right here, the 0.88 level, the well, in a way, maybe a psychological, maybe not, but nevertheless, for now, you can see that this level is kind of continuing to hold the rate down. So although this week we did have a few overshoots, it's still neither of the daily candles managed to kind of remain above that barrier. That's what we're looking for. We're waiting for that daily candle kind of closing above this area, and in order to aim for higher levels. But until then, we're just going to continue observing this one and well, not doing anything. USDCAD very quickly here. I talked about this one recently, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this barrier right here, the 1.3666. This is what I was talking about yesterday when I was covering USDCAD, and what I was saying that in a way we need to see a nice good strong move above this area first in order to aim for higher levels. But as you can see yesterday, the pair tested exactly that level, but failed to kind of close the daily candle above it. Today we're seeing another attempt to kind of go above this level. However, for now it's too early to talk about anything here because again it's kind of stalling. It's stuck here near this 1.3666, so we would like to wait for a nice daily candle kind of staying above this barrier, and then kind of maybe aiming for higher levels. But even then, keep your eyes on this area right here, the 1.3708, which marks the low of the 12th of March, also the low of the 29th of May, and it kind of also coincides with the 100-day EMA, which in a way could also provide a bit of resistance. However, we'll be very careful here. If that gets over, I mean, if the pair overshoots that as well, we'll aim for slightly higher levels. Of course, this could open the door towards these slightly higher levels, but of course the bulls should not get their hopes up too much, or should I say, should not get way too excited, because this move higher could still be seen as part of a temporary correction, because the pair is still trading below this short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 31st of March, and any move higher up until this downside line could still be seen as a temporary correction. So that's why keep that in mind. GBPJPY, now here the problem is that previously when I looked at this one, as you can see by the arrow, that has already kind of shifted a little bit to the left. So the main idea was initially that if this upside support line continues to provide support, we may see a nice rebound and a push higher. However, as you can see, with the pair did kind of violate this upside line, but failed to drop below this 131.63 level. I also mentioned that one because a break of this one, that's what we need to see in order to aim for lower levels, because this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and the pair could then drift all the way towards the lowest point of May, near the 129.30 territory. But for now, as you can see, the pair continues to flirt with this upside line, and to be honest, it's so tentative that probably we could actually get rid of it, because it's just in a way, and it's just kind of annoying a little bit, I would say. But what we're going to do here is now we're going to mainly focus on some of these support and resistance levels mainly, and in a way with the upside, if you would like to consider some higher levels, at least a little bit higher levels here, then we would prefer to wait for a push above the highest point of this week near the 133.99 level, or in a way we could round it up towards the 134 mark. A nice good push above that could open the door towards slightly higher levels, at least towards the 200-day EMA, and then we would take it from there. But the fact that the pair is now showing kind of willingness to go lower, yes, there is a possibility for this one to decline further, especially looking at our oscillators as well. They're starting to point lower. However, we'll wait, and we'll wait for a confirmation break below the 131.63 level, and then aim for further declines. Until then, we're not really going to do anything here and just continue observing the price action. And finally, EURUSD. This morning I told you that for now we're going to remain neutral on this one, and to be honest, yep, probably that's how we're going to end the week, because it seems that the pair is going to get stuck here and near this 21-day EMA for and maybe we'll get a bit more action next week. But basically, just to kind of quickly refresh your memories, the downside for us could come after a break of the 1.1168 0.8 zone. That would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and initially we'll target the 200-day EMA, and we'll take it from there because we want to see how it's going to perform around here. But if this rebounds from this 21-day EMA, as it did, for example, here in the beginning of this week, and pushes higher, still we would like to wait for a push above the 1.1353 level here, and only then examine slightly higher levels. Until then, all this territory here could be a little bit of a tricky one, so we'll just probably wait this one out. So guys, I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I really hope you, like I said, I really appreciate your time. I really hope you'll have a wonderful weekend. I hope you'll come back fresh on Monday and join my video and my Traders Espresso video around 6 o'clock GMT time. We'll pick up on some of these instruments, some new ones, and yep, we'll see what the the week has installed for us kind of in a way, and what we could expect from the technical side from some of those instruments. So once again, guys, thank you very much for joining in. I really appreciate it, and have a wonderful evening and weekend as well. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.